is that when you devise a show, you would need actually to be able to capitalize on what you created in more than just one market. Which means that if you devise a show, you have 4 broadcasters, you pitch it there, it's not going to happen. Then it's nice to be within a big family of production companies where you can go and pitch it in other markets. So you actually capitalize much more on your creativity. So those 2 factors are just genuine important factors and calls for consolidation. So I think that we would always and more be faced with smaller production companies that will be screaming to get sort of a stronger or at least a feasible foothold for their business. And they won't be breathing before they end up in sort of a position where they can actually, when they are consolidated. So at least that's how we see it. And you can look to the UK market now. It's, I mean, every new little sort of aspiring company is being bought up immediately into the bigger ones. And I think actually looking into the German market, I don't know much about it, but still, there is a lot of production companies in the German market.
No.
You might be facing sort of going through a maturing phase right now with more consolidation, more buyouts. Could imagine.
I mean, who do you see coming through your door, Paul? You've just explained about your timescales, and you do have a relatively open door for people in the UK, but there aren't that number of opportunities really for the amount of people who are coming forward, and we all know that there are great frustrations in lots of companies' minds and individuals' minds. I mean, what's your view now of who's going to be coming through the door? Are the smaller people just going to not be around in years to come, or are they going to group up? I mean, how do you see it happening?
Well, I think there are 2 factors which are driving exactly in the way that Jacob and Martin have been talking about. Firstly, there is the finance, and just to say my view on that is there's no such thing as a free lunch. Pact got very close to doing a deal which wrote a free lunch, in fairness, which said the broadcaster will pay for everything and we'll own everything. That was a pretty good deal. And I can quite understand that people are now starting to push back on that. But you know what? They're only starting to push back because the dollar crunch has got so tight. As long as everybody was making money, people kind of went along with it. Trouble is now we can't afford the shows anymore anyway. So now we're having to say, well, hang on, you're making £100 million out of Millionaire just selling it. Where's our share of that? Wouldn't happen if it wasn't for us. So there's the financial issue, but there's also the execution issue. And the truth is that as these shows get more and more complex, I'm talking about the big gangbuster shows that go around the world, as they get more complex, they get harder and harder to make, and the skills that know how to make them become more concentrated, and you get a snowball running down the hill of power where companies like the Fremantles of this world have the finance to run big development teams, run long teams in the way that you were talking earlier, which throw out 10, 20, 30 ideas and suddenly one comes. They also actually have catalogue. They have the money, as All3Media knows very well, to go out and buy catalogues so that when the game show suddenly comes back, they've got 50 that they made 25 years ago. So they have archive, they have development money, but they also can attract the very best producers. The same, it's interesting to me, literally the same personnel, not just the same company, that made Britain's Got Talent, which was undoubtedly the biggest show in the UK this year and will be. There's nothing going to overtake it now. The same producers are now making X Factor, which after 2 weeks has come back bigger than it ever was in its previous 3 seasons, and they're the same producers. Those people get incredibly powerful, and I tell you the interesting thing about those 2 shows is that we make very little money as broadcasters out of them. They are now so big, so powerful, the producers are so powerful, the talent that's essential to them is so powerful that we are quite low down the food chain in who's making money out of those things. But I think that will carry on, because I think the role of broadcast in this multi-platform world, the role of wide broadcast will become to be the kind of Barker channel, if you like, to be the lead voice in a multi-platform world. But I think you can still be a small producer and you could have one good idea. And actually, in truth, Paul was exactly that. Celador really was.
Celador had one show at that point. It was Commercial Breakdown was the only show they had on air.
Which was a clip show.
It was a clip show. I've been going for years and had, at that point...
One idea can still get you there. Yeah. But if you want to make a business case, if you want to go to your bank and make a business plan,